Round 14 of the Isuzu UTE A-League kicked off with the two form teams of the competition facing off against each other as the Wellington Phoenix travelled to McDonald Jones Stadium to take on the Newcastle Jets. The home side were looking to equal their club record by winning their fourth straight match, whilst the Knicks were yet to lose in 2026. Newcastle boss Mark Milligan stuck with the same 11 that beat the Wanderers last round, whilst Giancarlo Italiano also made no changes to the side that beat Sydney FC in the last round of Isuzu UTE A-League action.
Newcastle want to attack straight away. Here's Lockie Bayliss looking for Will Dobson at the edge of the box. And as he gets into a wrestle, the attack continues for the home side in the very first minute. Bayliss is going to shoot! The ideal start! Incredible! Barely time to draw breath and take your seats. And the Newcastle Jets are hitting the back of the net again. Eze through the middle. He slides it on Nazarene. Piper! Good save, Danielov. Keeps the Jets in front. Wilmering coming across. Payne delivers off the gloves of Danielov. And now Amiento with a deflection. And saved again by Danielov. And again by Danielov. Incredible! A triple save. And the Phoenix aren't done. Here's Amiento. Frees the feet for the cross. And it stays out yet again. Doesn't get any closer than that, and James Danielov, 3 incredible saves. Adams beyond the far post, it's an unmarked header. Natter brings it to ground with a beautiful touch, and then McCarron with an excellent save. Adams in a pocket of space, sees Wilmering. And Wilmering on a tight angle. Clayton Taylor not afraid of a tight angle. Clayton Taylor makes it 2 for Newcastle. A rasping strike. And the Jets fans celebrate. Here's Clayton Taylor. Knew that he had Bayliss on the wing. Bayliss. Adams! 3 for Newcastle. And the goal-scoring run continues for Eli Adams. And for the Phoenix, who will remain on the outside looking in, barring a minor miracle in the closing stages here. Khartoum! Well, could that be the spark and the start of something? Sander Khartoum introduces himself to the Isuzu UTE A-League with a well-taken goal. Here's Anuma trying to make amends for that miss a moment ago. Here's Bercello! Game, set, match, Newcastle! And Xavier Bercello has come off the bench to make the 3-point save. The Newcastle Jets have equalled their club record winning streak, and they've done so in front of their home fans in style. A game filled with attacking verve and vigour. It was high octane all through the first half, and then the goals started flowing in the second. You can't take your eyes off this team at the moment. Newcastle do it again. It's the Jets 4 defeating the Wellington Phoenix 1.
The Central Coast Mariners travelled across the Tasman to take on the defending premiers Auckland FC at Go Media Stadium, where a moment's silence was observed before the match to honour victims of the Mount Maunganui landslide. Despite sitting at the top of the table, the Black Knights were looking for some form, having won just 1 of their previous 4 matches, whilst the Mariners were hoping to turn their season around as they aimed to move off the bottom of the ladder. Steve Corica made 2 changes to his side that lost to Melbourne City, bringing in Jake Gerwood-Reich and Guillermo Mai, whilst Warren Moon stuck with a squad that drew against MacArthur.
Great cross from De Vries, climbing his Cosgrove. We know how powerful he is in those situations. Gerwood-Reich! Well, the octave went up because Jake Gerwood-Reich very rarely scores goals. Hasn't got one for Auckland FC, closest he's come. Here's Mai, he can set up Jesse Randall! Randall opens the scoring on a plate for him. And inside a dozen minutes at Go Media, Jesse Randall, who has been prolific this season, scores his 5th goal. He joins Cosgrove on that number. They're chasing Brook on 6. De Vries helps it in. Arriving was Lachlan Brook. Well, he doesn't score many with his head. Tipped around the post by Andrew Redmayne. De Vries now with an opportunity to cross it into Guillermo Mai. Look to pass it in. Harrington with a vital block. Guillermo Mai with a golden opportunity to double Auckland FC's lead. And here come the Mariners. DiPizio. Laval. Ollie Laval! Can you believe it? With less than a third of possession in the first half, Ollie Laval has squared the ledger with 90 seconds to go in the first half. Steve Corica likely to be apoplectic on the bench. No, Donnell. Gygos thought about the shot. Brings De Vries in. He hangs it up. Cosgrove! He feeds off that sort of delivery, Sam Cosgrove. Meat and drink for a striker of his quality. He goes joint top of the Golden Boot standings with a 6th goal of the season. And Auckland's 1-goal advantage is restored. McElmont, and he slips, and it's an unfortunate time to slip, but fortunately for him, it's come back to him. McElmont into the 6-yard area and Vowles! An error that's gone in, I'm certain of it. It has now. And Michael Vowles, unable to contain the ball at the near post, bundled in by the Mariners. History repeating at Go Media, and we're all square at 2 apiece.
Michael Vowles gets down too low, has to readjust, and from there, off his chest, off the post.
They say history never repeats. Well, it has here. The Central Coast Mariners, for the 2nd time in 2 seasons, have come to Auckland and taken a share of the points. Auckland FC 2, the Central Coast Mariners 2.
Adelaide United headed to Queensland and to Suncorp Stadium to face the Brisbane Roar. Staff and players from both teams wore black armbands in tribute to Brisbane coach Michael Valkanis' mother, Filipina, who sadly passed away a week earlier. A win would move Brisbane into 2nd place, whilst 3 points would put Adelaide into the top 6. Roar captain Jay O'Shea returned to Michael Valkanis' squad after missing the last 2 games through injury, and new signing Nick D'Agostino also featured from the bench, whilst Adelaide boss Ayrton Andrioli brought Sotirios Phillis and Fabian Taladera into his starting 11.
Jay O'Shea with that ankle injury, is he at 100%? I don't think so, but he will play through absolutely everything. Here he is, the Irishman.
And he plays long this time. Rousson in the middle, and it's just wide. A last-ditch challenge was all important from Sotiri Phillis. Here's a long ball. Bruce testing the defence again. He's got support in the long, and as the defence stands off, they invited Michael Roos to have a crack. Clean up done by Frakas. Klein has his pocket picked as well. And Ajak react with a volley. And even though it wasn't held cleanly by Buzanis, now he's got to load up as the designated long thrower. Over the head of Klein. Long! And somehow it is deflected into Smits and stayed in. Here's Klein, and the long shot is in! Stand off him at your peril! Sam Klein picks out the bottom right corner. Kiddo. Jovanovic. Deflected, it sits up, and the equaliser! Brody Burkett! An inspired half-time sub, and a first Isuzu UTE A-League goal. Roar rebuild again. Long. He's done it again. Chris Long, the scourge of Adelaide. Muñiz. Adelaide on the move. De Cooley down the wing. Hits the byline. The cutback. Burkett! He's got two! Brody Burkett having a day out. And Adelaide get the equaliser. Long. Sam Klein. Now the long shot parried away. McGarry stinging the palms of Smits, and it's out for a corner. Johnny Young. A sweeping cross. Burkett. Incredible, he's done it! A hat-trick in the second half for 19-year-old Brody Burkett. And the Adelaide away bay are in dreamland. Brody Burkett, the greatest day of your young life. Adelaide's hat-trick hero. And a win to savour at Suncorp for Adelaide United. If you weren't watching, you probably wouldn't believe it. And those that did watch are in disbelief. What a game. Brisbane Roar 2, Adelaide United 3.
The reigning Isuzu UTE A-League champions Melbourne City made their way to Campbelltown Sports Stadium to take on last season's Cup winners, the Macarthur Bulls. Milej Stajovski made 2 changes to his starting 11, adding Luke Vickery and giving Socceroo Mitch Duke his starting debut, whilst Aurelio Vidmar brought Ben Mazzeo, Zane Schreiber and Alessandro Lapane into his starting 11.
With Liam Rose, space to try and find the cross. Goes back post towards Grosjean. Patrick Beach with the punch away, straight back in towards Mitchell Duke. And it's taken less than 6 minutes on his starting debut for his new side to find the back of the net. Well, it may have been their first foray forward, but they made it count. Yours, Luke Bratton curls it in from 45 metres out. Stunning finish from the former Melbourne City man. Well, this A-League season just keeps delivering. Ball to the back post is a good one. Oh, the mistake by Curto. And Mehdi has 2 in 2. And Melbourne City have been gifted a lifeline. Talbot, that's nicely done. Here they come. Caceres has got Grosjean. Caceres onto the right! And that's 3! Anthony Caceres putting his hand up. He was allowed to run. And he shot with precision and power. Too much for Patrick Beach, beaten for a 3rd time this evening. Teague, has he shown too much of that to Vickery? Play on, says the referee. Harrison Sawyer, now with Vickery. Vickery shoots, and it's in! A 4th goal for Macarthur. And Luke Vickery makes it 2 in 2. Now they're in behind them again here, Boschniak. Sawyer's in the middle. Sawyer, oh, Boschniak doesn't need him. Well, now we are starting to get into the record books. 5 goals for Macarthur against the champions, no less. The speed of Marcus Younis. He'll have too much for Uzcock as well. Younis, oh, that's a brilliant finish. Marcus Younis marks his Melbourne City debut with the goal. Macarthur back on the front foot. They've hurt Melbourne City so many times. Sawyer, well, that is the best answer. What a way to reply. 6 of the best for Macarthur. An absolute massacre. It's a night that they will not forget around here. Well, what an unforgettable evening for the Bulls of Macarthur. An incredible 8 goals to add for what is shaping to be one of the most prolific weekends in A-League history. This amazing season just keeps on giving. Macarthur have stunned the champions. Macarthur are provisionally up to third as it's finished here. Macarthur 6, Melbourne City 2.
Perth Glory made the trip to the East Coast to take on the Western Sydney Wanderers at CommBank Stadium. The Wanderers appointed former championship-winning coach Gary Van Egmond this week, replacing Alan Stage, as they look to move off the bottom of the ladder. For his first match in charge, Van Egmond made 4 changes to the starting 11 that lost against the Newcastle Jets, whilst Adam Griffiths kept with the same lineup that lost to Brisbane.
Well, a break forward for the Wanderers, tripping into the box. Fancy footwork. Thurgate with a chance to wind up, and a deflection could have been mean.
Some good fluent attacks to start.
Thurgate turns wide, and the centering pass is flashed away by Wooten. Nice little touch inside, and a wicked shot off the boot of Aidan Simmons. Well, it flashed over the crossbar. The centering pass is delightful. The shot from Taggart straight into the chest of Lawrence Thomas. So Lawrence will be the taker, and has a go himself. Almost caught Lawrence Thomas unawares. Ugarkovic. More moments like this. Borrello. Nice turn from Brandon Borrello. Well, as well fashioned. Just little flashes of brilliance. Just missing the final touch. Pennington puts on the afterburners. A reversal angle pass to Taggart is neat. Pennington has continued his run. Pennington, and the save again by Lawrence Thomas is class. Shapluda to Gersbach. Kriev is an option if he can be slipped through. Bojadak Kriev, Caltech to beat. Good save down to his left foot. Matt Sutton. Good goalkeeping. Simmons. That's a nice play. Wooten across to cover. Well, it's an awkward run at the back, and Fraser looking to announce himself. Thurgate now, that was the chance. Should be 1-0 Western Sydney. Kankar winds up a long strike and hits it really well. Well, he got a nice piece of that, Philip Kankar. It's a delivery, Thurgate. Nearer post. Dropped into a more dangerous area. Lual could be the hero off the post. Still alive for Western Sydney. Fine Despotovsky, and now Fraser. He has space in front. Numbers retreated from Perth. Fraser! Oh, it's a lovely save from Matt Sutton, and how important that is for Perth Glory. Another chance, Western Sydney. Bodies on the ground. Sutton is up again. Fraser will get another chance in traffic! Well, it's a long way from Aberdeen, but Ryan Fraser has announced himself to the A-League. The Van Egmond era has arrived. It's an important win at home, and a changing of the guard that sees the Wanderers move off the foot of the table. 3 points at home, full time at CommBank Stadium. It's Western Sydney Wanderers 1, Perth Glory 0.
Round 14 came to a close with Sydney FC travelling to AAMI Park to take on Melbourne Victory in the Big Blue. Despite winning just one of their last 4 matches, the Sky Blues could go top of the table if they pick up all 3 points, whilst the home side were looking to avoid their 3rd consecutive defeat. Arthur Dillies made 3 changes to his squad, bringing in Jason Davidson, Josh Rawlins and Matt Grimaldi, whilst Joel King and Corey Holman were drafted into Ufuk Taleh's starting 11.
Oh, great header, and Victory have their goal, and it's Jason Davidson.
After factual review, Davidson is offside from the header. The final decision is offside.
Sydney players arguing with each other as the shot, and what a save! Devonish Mears denying Santos with a brilliant stop low down to his left. Curling it back post, oh, it's an own goal, I think. Or is Davidson claiming this one?
After factual review, there is a handball before the goal. The restart is a direct free kick, no goal.
bites the challenge just of Campuzano. Here's Mata, lovely control, Santos. Had to wait for the pass a little bit, Santos curling it! And that one will not be denied! Clarice Mario Santos with a superb finish inside the far post. Grimaldi with Genro, look at the space here for Rawlins. Santos arriving at the back post, he rolls it across, Burgos, brilliant stop, outrageous save. King. Ullman can't get there, Burgos looking for the pace of Santos. He's there, he's got too much for Popovic, Santos still! At the double, the Brazilian. And that one he did all on his own. Sheer pace and precision, and the chance of going top of the table is proving a weight too much to bear one more time. In it comes Kispe again, the cross, the header from Popovic, the follow-up, Campuzano.
Here's another look. Why that goal was disallowed. No touch there from Joel King, which means free kick for the opposition.
See how comfortable Victory are on the ball in these passages of play as well. Davidson, and now Jelassic. Oh, brilliant! And that's three. Keegan Jelassic off the bench, and with a little curl of his own. Mata's ball, back post. Oh, Lockie Jackson turning back the clock with the old school celebration. Mata, 3 assists this evening. It's a statement win for Melbourne Victory. Arthur Dillis's side, who was staring down the barrel of a third consecutive defeat, have instead turned it round to one of the great Big Blue performances. Victory running out 4-0 winners over Sydney FC.
With Sydney FC missing the opportunity to go top, Auckland FC remain in first place, followed by the Newcastle Jets and MacArthur FC in what is an incredibly tight top 6. Melbourne Victory's win sees them slide up into 7th place, and the Western Sydney Wanderers' late winner sees them move off the foot of the ladder. Join us next week for another action-packed round of Isuzu UTE A-League action, headlined by the Sydney Derby at Allianz Stadium.